Quick spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen episode 5 of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, make sure you guys go watch that first because I'm going to be talking about everything openly. Now, if you read the title, some of you are going to be nodding along with me like, yeah, he's kind of got some bars and he's saying some shit. And some of you guys are going to be in the comments telling me I'm insane. But I'm planting my flag early. What I watched on Sunday night was probably the greatest piece of television I have ever seen in my life. And the reason I'm coming in this strong isn't because the episode had one big moment, is because it somehow managed to do everything at once. It gave us skill without losing clarity, emotion without feeling manipulative, and violence that actually meant something instead of just looking cool. Because episode 5 didn't treat the trial of 7 like a set piece, it treated it like a verdict on what this world really values. Now, from the jump, the episode's tone is different. The air feels heavy, the pacing feels confident. It's not rushing to get to the main event because it knows that the main event isn't just a fight. The main event is what the fight reveals about everybody in it. And the first thing that it reveals is that tradition in Westeros is just violence with a fancy name. A trial of 7 sounds noble when it's written in a history book, but when you're watching it in real time, it's basically the realm saying, we don't know what's right, so we're gonna let the bodies decide. It's laws stripped down to the most brutal coin flip imaginable. And that's why the cinematography works so well. The camera isn't worshiping the night. It's not doing the glossy hero shot combat style. It's dragging you into the mess. Mud, breath, panic, metal screaming against metal. Because the point isn't to make it pretty. You can feel it in the sound design too. The hits don't sound like movie hits. They sound like bone and air leaving lungs. And it's exhausting to watch in the best way, because it feels like this episode is saying, if you're gonna ask for violence, I'm gonna show you what it costs. And right when you think it's about to become this non-stop adrenaline sprint, the episode makes one of the boldest decisions I've seen in a long time. It cuts away. It pulls us out of the arena and drops us right into Dunk's past, into Flea Bottom, into hunger, into survival, into the part of the story that really makes us understand why Dunk is Dunk. And truth be told, this is where you would oftentimes lose viewers. People would probably get checked out at this moment, not really care about a flashback, but I think I can say this for a lot of people, I was locked in, man. Because it's risky to interrupt momentum like that. But this episode definitely earned it. Because the flashback didn't feel like a detour, it felt like a key piece of information into understanding Dunk. It's showing you that Dunk's resilience didn't come from training. It didn't come from some chosen one destiny. It came from living at the bottom of the world and learning that if you don't stand up, nobody's gonna lift you. So when the episode snaps right back to the trial, everything feels different. Every single time Dunk forces himself up, it's not just physical toughness. It's identity, it's perseverance. It's a person who's been told his entire life he doesn't matter. And this is Dunk refusing that verdict. And the episode keeps threading that through everything. The contrast between bloodline entitlement and earned character. Because on the other side, you have Aerion. And Aerion is basically the thesis statement of everything rotten in this world. He's what happens when you give someone power and never tell them no. He's cruelty dressed up as superiority. He's a prince who thinks being feared is the same thing as being respected. So when Dunk and Aerion collide, it's not just hero versus villain. It's literally the realm social order just getting punched right through his mouth. And listen, Dunk isn't even supposed to be here. Dunk is not supposed to be able to stand across the Dragon Prince and make the entire court hold its breath. But that's the magic of this story. It keeps reminding you that titles don't determine your worth, your actions do. And that's why the Trial of 7 is such a perfect choice for this episode, because it forces all the masks off. You can't posture your way through a fight like this. You can't politics your way through a mace to the ribs. When it's 7 on 7, chaos exposes who's brave, who's desperate, who's loyal, and who's only ever been protected by the idea of their name. And then the episode hits the moment it turns from phenomenal to legendary. Baelor Breakspear. If you've been watching this show and you felt that rare thing, hope, Baelor is why. He feels like the version of Westeros that could have been. He's measured, he's honorable without being naive, He's powerful without needing to humiliate people. He feels like the kind of leader this world never lets itself have for long. And the episode understands exactly what Baylor represents because it frames him like a pillar. When he speaks, things settle. When he moves, people will listen. And the show makes you feel safe when he's on screen. And that's not accidental, because the moment you feel safe, that's when Westeros reminds you what kind of story you're actually in. When the trial ends and you think for a second the storm has passed, Baelor collapsed. It's not a flashy death. It's not slow motion hero music. It's not the show begging you to cry. It's sudden, it's real, and it's cruel. It's the kind of death that makes you stare at the screen like, wait, no, not like this, because it's so unfair. It almost feels like the episode is challenging you perfectly. And thematically, it's perfect because Westeros doesn't kill hope in an epic blaze. It kills it in an instant. It kills it right after you start believing again. It kills it in a way that makes you realize that the realm isn't just dangerous because of monsters or battles. It's dangerous because it punishes the best people first. Think Ned Stark, think Robb Stark, think Marjorie Tyrell, and now you can add Baelor to that list. All great people that were taken way too soon. And here's why that moment is so powerful. It frames the entire episode in hindsight. You realize the trial wasn't just about provoking Dunk's innocence. It was about showing you that even when the right outcome happens, the cost can still be catastrophic. Dunk survives, but the world took his payment anyways. And that's why the episode feels like peak Thrones. Not because it's copying the old show's shock moments, but because it's using consequence the way this universe is supposed to. Actions ripple. One death changes everything. Not just emotionally, but politically as well. Because Baelor's death doesn't just hurt, it destabilizes. It changes succession. It shifts the balance of influence at court. It created a vacuum where the worst people can rise. And if you know anything about Westeros works, you know that a power vacuum doesn't stay empty. It gets filled by ambition, paranoia, and blood. Which brings us to the other reason this episode feels so special. It's intimate, but it's also historic. So even if you're only watching for Dunk and Egg, the episode is constantly whispering that bigger forces are moving in the background. The realm is tense. Oiled loyalties are super fragile. And the idea of rebellion isn't just a distant past. It's a shadow that keeps stretching across the story. So while we're focusing on one hedge knight battling for his life, the episode is also quietly positioning the era around him. It's telling you this is what the calm looks like before the storm. Not peaceful, but just temporarily contained. And the genius part is it never loses Dunk in that scope. Because at its core, this episode is about a simple idea. What does a good man do in a world destined to break him? Dunk doesn't win because he's perfect. He doesn't win because he's polished. He doesn't win because he's some secret lineage. He wins because he refuses to become what the world expects him to become. And that's why the title of the episode matters too. In the Name of the Mother. Because it's not just some religious flavor. It's not just Westeros aesthetics. It's invoking mercy, judgment, protection. The idea that there's supposed to be something sacred about life. And then the episode asks the question, does this world actually honor that? Or does it say the words when it's convenient? And the answer by the end of the episode is brutal. The realm will speak of holy names while it sharpens its knives. It will call slaughter justice. It will praise honor and then punish it in the second it becomes inconvenient. Which leads right back to the main question of this video. Is this the greatest episode of all time? Now here's what I'll say. The reason why people are calling this an all-timer isn't just because it was intense. It's because the episode felt complete. It felt like a full story inside of a chapter of an even larger story. It built tension and then it paid it off. It blindsided you and then left you with consequences that are going to be hanging over everything that comes next. And even more than that, it reminded people how this universe works when it's at its best. Not dragons, not spectacle, and not shock. It's character colliding with power. It's the small person standing in front of the machine, refusing to move. And now that Baylor is gone, the question isn't what happens next in a casual way. The question is what happens to Duncan Egg in a world that just proved again that doing the right thing doesn't guarantee you survival. And it definitely doesn't guarantee the people you respect will survive with you. So let me throw it at you because I'm genuinely curious on how everyone took it. So what hit you harder, the trial itself or the aftermath when the episode finally let you breathe and then took that very same air away again? And if you think I'm wrong, if you think that this isn't even close to the greatest episode of all time, please tell me what episode you think that is and why it holds the crown. Because if episode 5 was at this level, I can only imagine how good the finale will be. And I'm dreading waiting for season 2. I'm not gonna lie. Now, thank you guys for watching today's video. I know I haven't been uploading consistently. I have been going through a recovery. I broke my foot at work and it was kind of hard for me to sit at my desk and do the work I needed to do to get the videos done. But I only have a couple more weeks left in my recovery, so I should be working on videos way more frequently. So thank you guys so much for watching today, and I will see you guys next time.